What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be predicting the playoffs if they started today, looking at the current playoff picture and predicting every game and who would come out on top, in my opinion, if these current playoff teams were the playoff teams at the end of the season. So, looking at the NFC first, okay, the first wildcard game would be the Vikings at the 2 seed taking on the 7 seed Washington Commanders. Okay, this is an interesting game because these two teams played just a couple weeks ago, and the Commanders were able to keep this thing really, really close and ended up only losing by 3 points. But the Vikings, if the season were to have ended today, like we're not projecting in this video what the Vikings are going to be at the end of the season or what the Commanders are going to be at the end of the season. This is right now. If these playoffs started today, I think the Vikings are the better team, and I know that Kirk Cousins doesn't usually show up in big situations, but I mean, a revenge game in the playoffs against Washington, I think they take the dub there. So the Vikings move on to the divisional round pretty easily. So they will probably end up getting whoever the higher seed is coming out of it. Then we have the 49ers playing the Giants. The Giants, I don't think will end up being in the playoffs at the end of the season, but like I said, they are right now. So we're projecting them right now. The Giants would lose this game pretty handily. I think that this is a way, way, way overrated Giants team. I think they're playing way better than they should be, and I'm giving them a lot of credit for the way they're playing right now. And gotta give Brian Dable a lot of credit and Daniel Jones a lot of credit for not turning the ball over nearly as much as he has in the past. But I mean, this isn't a legit team. The 49ers are really, really good. Despite their lack of like superstar talent. All across the board. I mean, their defense is really good. I mean, yeah, they have Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, two guys who are superstars, and they have, Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and Trent Williams. I mean, they have some superstars, but like people consistently count out this team because of their quarterback, and I still think that they would win this game pretty easily because I do trust Jimmy G more than I trust Daniel Jones. So, yeah. And then, have the 49ers move on there, and then the 49ers the Buccaneers and the Cowboys would go at it as the 4 and the 5 seeds. This is really, really interesting. And the Buccaneers will probably end up being the 4th seed because they'll probably win the NFC South, but they're not going to have that good of a record. I'm torn, but I'm giving this one to the Cowboys. I know it's Tom Brady, but the Cowboys are legitimately, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the NFC, and they would be the 1 seed or the 2 seed if the Eagles weren't as good as they were. They're just in the division with a really, really good team in front of them. And the Cowboys, listen, man, I've watched them play a lot this year. I watched them lose to the Packers, but then I watched them turn around and just destroy the Minnesota Vikings, which brought so much joy to my heart as a Packers fan. You don't even know. And then they took care of business against a division rival on Thanksgiving. I mean, they look really, really good right now. And I don't think the Buccaneers are nearly as good as anybody in this playoff race, except for maybe the Giants. I might even take Washington over them right now. Um, they're playing better, in my opinion. I mean, the Bucs have just not been playing well. They just lost to Jacoby Brissett-led Browns. So that's going to do it for the wild card round, meaning that the Eagles would take on the Cowboys because the Cowboys would be the lowest seed remaining. And we'd have 49ers Vikings, which is a really interesting game. Let's start with that game 49ers Vikings. I'm going to take the 49ers. I think that Shanahan would get the best of Kevin O'Connell in the situation. I think this is a really, really close matchup. I think that defense really gives Kirk Cousins problems, and I think that defense just gives that offense problems in general. I mean, when the last time the Vikings went up against a good pass rush and a good defense in general against the Cowboys, they got absolutely blown out of the water. I don't think they get blown out, but I do think they have a tough time moving the football. I think the 49ers offense does enough against this Vikings defense to get it done. So the 49ers move on to the NFC Championship. Then the Eagles play the Cowboys. Um, you know, I like both of these teams a lot. I think if things were to play out differently and there's an opportunity, I think this could be the NFC Championship game. Seriously, I do think this could be the NFC Championship game. But I'm going to take the Eagles. I mean, they're so good. I know they haven't played the Cowboys with Dak yet at this point in the year, but I really do think they're the best team in football. I mean, I got to watch them against the Packers, and the way they were able to run the football so effectively, but also just pass the football whenever they want to, as effectively as they want to. That's something that not any team has right now. Um, the way that they do. I don't think anybody matches up against them, at least in the NFC. So I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to go to the NFC Championship. Then we're looking at Eagles 49ers for the NFC Championship, and I'm gonna take the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna have them going to the Super Bowl this year with Jalen Hurts. Um, I mean, the 49ers are really good, but it all comes down to, can they stop the run and can they stop the pass effectively enough? I think their defense has the capability to do that, but you know, the Rams last year were able to get past the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, and I think that this Eagles team is better than last year's Rams team. So I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take them to go to the Super Bowl. So that's going to be it for the NFC. Let's move right into the AFC here. Our first wildcard matchup would be the Dolphins taking on the Jets. A really, really interesting game, and I'm going to take the Dolphins. I don't care who's playing quarterback for the Jets. They're not going to show up in the playoffs. As much as we all love Mike White, even if it's him or if it's Zach Wilson, definitely not. They're not going to make a playoff run just because I don't think their quarterback situation is going to be good enough to do it. I mean, I know that they beat the Dolphins early in the year with Zach Wilson, but Skylar Thompson was the quarterback for most of that game, and they had Teddy Bridgewater for some of that game. They didn't have Tua at all. So yeah, give me the Dolphins there pretty easily. I think both the 2 seeds win in the scenario if the season ended today. So the Dolphins and the Chiefs are waiting in the divisional round. And then we have Titans Bengals. The Bengals have the Titans number for whatever reason. So I'm going to take the Bengals. I mean, they beat them in the divisional round last year when they weren't even supposed to. They beat the 1 seed Tennessee Titans in their first playoff game, and they just beat them this past week. And they seem to have the number. They seem to have the formula for at least shutting down Derrick Henry enough to the point where they can win the football game and not just get destroyed on the ground. So the Bengals are also really on the rise right now, and they've done a fantastic job these past few weeks despite missing Jamar Chase and despite dealing with some other injuries and some adversity in general. I think they could easily jump into first place in the division and win it again. But like I said, this is based off of what the playoff picture looks like right now. So yeah, give me the Bengals over the Titans and a little bit of an upset there. That'll send the Bengals directly to play the Dolphins. And then winner of the Bills Ravens. That'll send the Bengals directly to playing the Chiefs. Sorry, my bad. And so then Ravens Bills winner plays the Dolphins. Give me the Bills. The Bills beat them in the regular season and came back from a huge deficit. And the Ravens haven't been playing the best football recently, and they really can't hold a lead. So even if they would jump out to a lead here, I don't think you're ever really comfortable that they're actually going to keep that lead. And I like the Ravens. I love Lamar Jackson, but he's been playing some really sloppy football recently. He was good against Jacksonville. I don't want to discredit him, but there have been some situations this year where he's looked kind of rough. And you can't ignore the fact that they just cannot hold a lead. And I don't trust them to do it in the playoffs if they can't even do that in the regular season. So give me the Buffalo Bills to move on and play the Dolphins. So moving on to the divisional round, Bengals Chiefs. I'm gonna take. It's just so tough because the Bengals were huge underdogs against the Chiefs. I don't see the Chiefs being one and done in the playoffs, though. So give me the Chiefs there. I'm gonna take them to beat the Bengals. I'll probably end up being wrong about that if they meet in the playoffs, but if they meet in the divisional round, in my opinion, as of right now, I would take the Chiefs. Mahomes is just way too good. And then Dolphins Bills. Give me the Bills. I know the Dolphins beat them the first time, but I think the Bills will get them the second time, and I just trust the Bills more in the playoffs than I do the Dolphins right now. I would trust Josh Allen a little bit more than I would trust Tua. And, Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill is going to be quite the matchup, receiver to receiver. And I think it'll be a really, really good game. I think it'll be like a high scoring affair. But then I hate to be boring. Chiefs Bills for the AFC Championship. And this is the year I think the Bills get them. I think the Bills go and they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship and they go on to play the Eagles. And then finally, my Super Bowl prediction. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles over the Bills. If the playoffs ended today, looking at this current playoff picture, I would take the Philadelphia Eagles over the Buffalo Bills for the Super Bowl. All right. So now that we've done all of our predictions and stuff, if the playoffs were to start today, let's move on to some business stuff. So I released a new content schedule on Twitter yesterday. That's going to be my official one. So I wanted to just go over it with you guys so you guys know it as well if you haven't seen the tweet. If you don't follow me on Twitter, at Jake Talk Sports 3 on Twitter, go follow me there. I tweet about pretty much every single NFL game that goes on and every sport pretty much. So yeah, go ahead and do that. But the new TikTok schedule, content schedule, 3 to 5 TikToks a day. That's pretty general. I've been doing that anyway. YouTube videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. Today is Wednesday. You guys are watching this on Wednesday. This video dropped at noon. Um, YouTube streams Tuesday, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and occasionally one weekend stream, meaning I'll probably randomly go live on a Saturday or Sunday night or whatever. But the solid ones are Tuesday, Thursday at 10 p.m., and then podcast episodes will drop Wednesdays at noon Eastern. Not the case today. I'm a little sick, so I haven't really been able to record with anybody or record just by myself talking. This is the first time I've actually been able to talk comfortably and stuff, even making this video. So no podcast episode today, but going forward, at least next week will be the first full week of the new schedule, and that'll include the Wednesday podcast episode. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do everything you can to help grow this channel, and I will see you guys next time.